Hello, welcome to Ramble Adventures. Today I'm heading into the ancient woodland of Sherwood Forest. I'm going to be starting at the village of Edwinstowe. I'll take a look at St Mary's Church where supposedly Robin Hood and Maid Marian were married. Then I'll head on into the forest and see the majestic ancient oak tree known as the Major Oak. On my way back I'll stop off at the Sherwood Forest Arts and Crafts Centre and take a look at the lovely independent shops in there. I would think most people know of the legendary Robin Hood. He was a famous outlaw who lived in Sherwood Forest in Nottinghamshire. The forest laws at the time were harsh and oppressive, and Robin Hood would fight back to help the downtrodden poor. St Mary's Church dates from around 1175, however the original church on this site would have been a wooden chapel and was built in 633 AD. After the Christian king Edwin died in battle against the pagan kings of Mercia and Gwynedd, his body was laid at Edwinstowe temporarily before being moved up to York. The name Edwinstowe means Edwin's holy place. The church was rebuilt in stone on orders of King Henry II, and it's considered to be the legendary place where Robin Hood and Maid Marian were married. Anyone who visited here before 2018 and hasn't seen it since might not recognise this visitors centre. It used to be inside the forest, but unfortunately it was massively damaging to the area, to the forest itself, so it was moved outside near the cricket pavilion. follow the Greenwood Trail. So many interesting trees in here. Just love the sculpture in these branches. They're so beautiful. We're going to be following the Wildwood Trail today, so it's a pretty easy one. It's 2 miles, but plenty of things to look at. It has a nice sort of off the beat feel to its pathways, so yeah, I thought that would be a good one. We'll pass by the major oak, of course, on the way back, and where the old visitor centre is as well. I think what that can disappoint people when they visit here is the size of this woodland. When you think Sherwood Forest and the stories around it, you're expecting a vast forest stretching for miles. The longest route around the perimeter of this part of the ancient woodland area is 4 miles. There are many more trails to be explored in the Forestry Commission areas to the west, and RSPB have recently acquired Woodby South Forest to the north of this area too, which was previously an MOD training ground. But the small size of the remaining forest is another part of the forest's vast history. Going right back to the 1st century, Sherwood Forest covered a large area spanning about 100,000 acres and spread from Worksop right the way to the walls of Nottingham Castle. Now there's only around 1,000 acres of the ancient woodland left. The Romans had a settlement in this area and they cleared a lot of the woodland, which became heathland and contributed to the shaping of the future landscape. Around the 7th to the 9th century, the Angles and Saxons invaded Britain, and then during the 9th and 10th century, the Vikings also settled in the forest. Through this time, many trees were cut down as the demand for timber increased. So even in Robin Hood's time, around the 12th century, Sherwood Forest was a mix of woodland, heathland, grassland and villages. And moving on to the 11th century, the Normans introduced forest law to protect the forest and encourage the breeding of game. The people weren't allowed to hunt or cut down trees, which made life really difficult for the poor. Penalties up until 1217 were severe, including blinding, death and dismemberment. However, this law was abused by kings who declared that Sherwood Forest was the king's forest, a royal hunting ground, where only the king could hunt game. And this continued through the 12th and 13th centuries, around the time of Robin Hood, who famously stood up for the rights of the people. What amazes me, though, is through all those historical events, this small 1,000 acres of woodland has survived untouched from the Ice Age. There's been an unbroken cover of woodland here for 10,000 years. There's still around 900 oak trees, which are over 600 years old. down towards the major oak. Looks like they've got some stuff set up for Robin Hood Festival. So the major oak is an iconic ancient oak tree which is somewhere around 800 to 1,100 years old. It's one of the biggest oak trees in Britain. Its canopy is about 28 metres. It has a trunk circumference of 11 metres and an estimated weight of 23 tonnes. However, its size isn't why it's called the major oak. In 1790, Major Hayman Rooke wrote a book detailing the oak trees of the area, and people began to refer to the tree as the major oak in his honour. So this is where the old visitor centre was. Obviously it's now closed off for regeneration. There's just so many interesting trees in here. I could show them you all day. I absolutely love them. But I'd say this bit, as you're coming back round from the major oak, walking back round toward the visitor centre, I'd say that's got the most of the old trees in there. It's like the squirrel couldn't pan you round quick enough there. I do love this, but this is my favourite clearing in the forest. I don't know why, it just is. It's full of yew trees. Old yew tree over there, all hollow. Like the lightning strike one from the information card we saw. This one's the perfect tree for climbing. Visitor centre just as it's going to start to rain, so we timed it perfectly. nice little art studios. The cafe has an atrium, which is a beautiful seating area, nice and open. A little stop off in the cafe at the atrium. Even more little shops outside. Candles. If you've enjoyed the video, please like, share and subscribe, and see you next time.